What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and congratulations to Jurgen Klinsmann for making it back on my who to kill list. Because I blame that loss on him. Obviously, not like you can't put all of the blame on him, but most of it is on him. Because first of all, you look at the formation, the first one, not a bad formation. I've seen it used properly. I support Chelsea. They use a back three very well. The problem is you need really good midfielders defensively. You look at Conte, you look at Matic, both of them work really hard defensively. You've got Michael Bradley. Problem number one. Second problem, your wingbacks should be able to get up and down the field. They should serve not just as wings going forward, they should also serve as fullbacks. I mean, Victor Moses does it really well. Alonso does it really well. You've got Timmy Chandler. Second problem. That's it. That kills the entire system. And so Mexico goes up a goal. He decides, well, we're going to go back to a back four. They start playing a little bit better. But the problem is you've still got Timmy Chandler and Michael Bradley on the field. And that's your biggest problem. And you go into the second half, Mexico kind of sat back a little bit, gave Altidore and Wood some room to run. And that's when we started getting more progressive. That's when we started getting more chances. But you look at the biggest problems, Michael Bradley, Timmy Chandler are still on the field. He doesn't get Timmy Chandler off until later on in the match. You bring on Yedlin, who should have started the match over Chandler. I don't know what the hell he's thinking putting Chandler on the field at all. Because he's not a soccer player. He is probably the worst player we have on our team. Even worse than Beckerman and Wando. And that's saying a lot. So no excuse for him being on there. I don't care if he's playing every single minute at his club. I don't give a crap. He does not belong on that field, especially over somebody like DeAndre Yedlin, who at least has the speed to make up for the fact that he's not a great defender. So, problem number one, Timmy Chandler never should see the light of day. And then Michael Bradley staying on the field. I mean, I know that Jurgen Klinsmann loves Michael Bradley, so there's no way possible Michael Bradley's not going to play a full 90 minutes. But I just don't understand, after watching games like this, how he still starts and plays a full 90 minutes. It's amazing to me that I watch the same game that Jurgen Klinsmann does. And for some reason, he doesn't see any of the problems with Michael Bradley that I do. He's too slow. His passes are awful. Defensively, he's slow to get there. I mean, the first goal, all he has to do is be strong, poke it away. Instead, he's sitting there wrestling with the guy. He can't get the ball, flicks away. And then the guy has a shot as Timmy Chandler comes in late and deflects it away from Howard. It's that easy. Because Bradley is not good enough to play. He is not good enough to play for this national team. We have players that are miles ahead of him. Sasha Kljestan, which I'll talk about him not getting subbed in at all for some reason. If you're trying to win the game, I'll talk about that in a second. You got Sasha Kljestan, who's better. You got Jermaine Jones, who obviously started over him or with him in the midfield, but he's better to put in there in that defensive midfield role that he's supposed to be playing. You have so many options. You know, I would say even that Stanko kid. I haven't really seen a whole lot of him, but when I saw him play against Trinidad and Tobago, at least he has some speed on him that Bradley doesn't have. So I just don't understand how he continues to make all of the same mistakes, continues to be this completely average player, and yet he is somehow the midfielder that's always there. And it's killing us. It is literally killing our team, and I don't see us winning any games against teams like Mexico, like Puerto Rico. I don't see us winning any of those games. I see us losing all of those games if he continues to be in our midfield. You know, maybe the players around him might be able to pick a win every now and then, but as long as he continues to be the key for our midfield, we don't stand a chance, because he is not good enough. On to the rest of the problems from Klinsmann. Second half, he waited way too long to get Chandler off the field and to get Yedlin on. Yedlin, he's got a lot of speed. You put him on about 60th minute, you give him just license to run up and down the line. That's all you need to do. Problem is, he waited, I think, till like the 70th or 75th, somewhere in there. He waited way too late to bring him on. And that doesn't give him enough time to really wear down. I mean, he's going to wear players down when you put him at wing because he's got so much speed. He's just going to run at him, and they don't. they'll have to be running constantly the entire game. I don't see them being able to handle that for very long. But if you only have them do it for 15 minutes, that's not going to do much. And then, of course, the final sub, like I said, why not Kleshtin? I don't understand that at all. One of the best things about the past few World Cup qualifiers is watching Kleshtin combined with the likes of Altidore, Pulisic, and Bobby Wood. I mean, he's not this fantastic standout player, but he fits into this system really, really well. And so the fact that he didn't even see the light of day when we're trying to win this game, we're not trying to tie, which now that I'm looking at it, the last sub was a left back. He was trying to tie. Why? I don't understand that. You're at home. You're against Mexico. You've won this game. How many times? This is 4 times now in a row? And then you're going to go and lose because you didn't have the mindset of, we need to win this game. And this has been Klinsmann's problem for me for a while. Even the games that he has been winning, it's been a little too safe. Honestly, the past 2 games gave me a bit of hope against Trinidad and Tobago and St. Vincent. Even though these are not teams we should obviously be winning against teams like that. But he was giving the youngsters a chance to play. He was switching it up a little bit. He wasn't playing his usual safe style. He was actually giving them license to roam and letting them play. And it looked great. And then you come into this game, and after the formation doesn't work after 20 minutes, let's switch back. Oh, we're tied 1-1. They're getting too many chances. Let's put on a defender, make sure we can hold out for a 1-1 tie. It's too safe. And Mexico thrives if you play too safe. I mean, you look at the first half, the reason they dominated that first half was because they had so much room to run. Because nobody's putting pressure on. We're all staying so far back. Like, okay, guys, we have to stay back here. We have to play it safe. It's just, it doesn't work against teams like Mexico. That may work against St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It may work against Trinidad and Tobago. But when you're playing better teams, you have to put high pressure. You have to put hard pressure. And you have to be able to play. Michael Bradley can't do it. Timmy Chandler can't do it. To some extent, I would say even Jermaine Jones can't really do it. But I would keep Jones on because he just works hard. He's the hardworking, the workhorse in the midfield. That's the only reason he stays on. But I'm really, really frustrated with those decisions from Klinsmann because it killed the game. We've lost for the first time against Mexico. We've lost the first home game, I think they said, in, 13 years? Something like that? I don't know. It's ridiculous. I hate the fact that we lost. It's frustrating because this was the perfect chance for us to make a statement and be like, look, we're here to stay. Instead, we made the opposite statement. We have no clue what we want to do. And that's the real frustration. So, done talking about Klinsmann. Let's go to individual performances. Howard, I hate the fact that he got injured. That is probably the only thing I would say that cost us our victory that was not, there's nothing you can do about it. It's unfortunate he got injured. He made a couple great saves, turned one onto the post. I think he may have gotten a hand to one that hit the bar. So it's just, you really look at his performance. The goal that went in, not much you can do about that. It's a deflection off of Chandler's foot to the far post. He got across the best he could, but not enough. Guzan comes in, average. Didn't really have a whole lot to do. When he did okay. But honestly, I see Guzan as a fairly average keeper, and Howard is a spectacular keeper. So the difference in quality is obvious. That last goal, not a whole lot Guzan could do about it, but I see Howard doing as much as he could to at least get to it, and Guzan just kind of stares at it as it goes over him. So, say what you will about that goal, say what you will about Guzan. I really prefer Howard in goal so much more than Guzan. Into the defense, starting with, I already talked about Chandler. Gonzalez, he was okay, not great. I think a lot of his problem is he really doesn't know what to do on his own. He needs a lot of direction. And John Brooks is the defender that can do that. But I don't see a lot of him making the decisions for himself. It seems like he's kind of lost at times. It seems like he doesn't make that decision to step in and win the ball. He's waiting for somebody to tell him to go step in and win the ball. So he's a good defender. I just think he's not great. And John Brooks is a great defender. He's got got caught out a couple times because he doesn't have a whole lot of speed. But you watch how many challenges he puts in. You watch how many times he steps in and puts pressure to stop their counterattack. He really, I mean, he's a good, solid defender that we need back there. If you put somebody alongside him that knows how to do the job as well, that's why he and Cameron normally work so well. Because even though I see Cameron as more of a center defensive mid, he understands that role very well and works alongside Brooks very well. So, Brooks had an average game, I would say, compared to what he normally can do. I normally expect him to just be incredible. I would say he was good today. So, Beasler on the left side, which he was one of the back three and then switched out to the left. Just kind of there. Never really did much defensively or offensively. He just kind of seemed like he was a body out there. Occasionally stepped in to make a good challenge, but overall I would say just kind of honestly, he seemed like a ghost. It seemed like he kind of disappeared halfway through the game. So a little disappointed with that. Orozco came in. I don't know why. I mean, first thing he does when he comes in, gets the ball, passes it right to the Mexican defender, off of him, and out of bounds for a throw-in. So it's kind of like, that's a great sub. Then you go up into the midfield. You've got, who's on the right? Oh, Johnson moved out to the right after they made the switch. He became the right mid. He probably had one of his better games. I think his biggest problem, though, is it was like he was a little bit hesitant to do anything with it. Like, I feel like there's so much more I feel like he can do with it. I feel like he can hit a great cross. I feel like he can hit a good shot. But it felt like he was nervous, like he didn't want to. He didn't want to hit that shot because, oh, what if I miss? That may not be good enough. It wasn't willing to hit a cross because, oh, maybe they're not ready and maybe it's not a great cross. I don't know. When he did stuff with the ball, it looked good. He hit in a couple great crosses. He found some good passing lanes. I mean, he really is a good player, but he just needs some more confidence, I think. I think if he had more confidence tonight, I think he could have done a lot more and really changed the game for us at times. So, but, he did what he could. Yedlin comes in there and does okay, but like I said, I think he needs more time to really run at defenders and wear them down. Because you let him start the game, you let him wear the defenders down, running at them with his pace, with just taking them on. Most of the time, by the end of the game, that defender's just dead. And so you give him the time to do that, he can do it. But getting subbed in with 15 to 20 minutes left, I don't see him being able to do it. And obviously could not do it. So, Jermaine Jones, good game. Like I said, workhorse in the midfield, just absolutely a beast at times. Some of his challenges that he makes, he just flies in, takes the ball, sometimes some of the man with him too, and just he works hard. He makes up for a lot of his mistakes by working hard, and I think that's the biggest difference between him and Bradley, is that Bradley doesn't work hard enough to make up for the mistakes. Jermaine Jones, he makes mistakes too, but then he works hard to win the ball back. He works hard to get back on defense. And I don't see that from Bradley. So that's the biggest difference between the two. That's why I love having Jermaine Jones in the center mid. And then Pulisic on the left. He was in the middle, and you could see a bit of change in his style of play. When he's in the midfield, it's a lot more turning and passing. And while I think he can be that player. I think he could be a great number 10 one day. But right now, he's a little young. He's inexperienced. And just, he can do it. It's just he needs to work at it more. Once he goes out on the wing, you can see he's really comfortable playing out there. And it's kind of interesting to see, I'd be interested to know which one he prefers to play, because you look at him playing in the midfield, he looks like he's just ready to go. You look at him playing out on the side, and he looks so much more effective. He makes that darting run past the defender. Now they're having to trip him. Now he's breaking inside. I mean, it's a joy to watch whenever he's on the field, because the way he plays is just so fluid. He just glides past the defender. All of a sudden they're there, and then he takes a touch, and then they're not there. So I just enjoy watching him play. I enjoy watching him beat defenders. I wish that he had, better, like I said, clutching in the midfield. I feel like he'd be able to combine with him so much more, because he makes that great run. He's going to lay it back. It's to Bradley, who loses the ball half the time. So I think that's the biggest difference that needs to change to really help him progress. He needs somebody that can combine with him. Kljestan is that player. So, like I said, hopefully Klinsmann can see this. This game should have been apparent that Bradley's not good enough to do it. But, like I said, always shows up anyway. Don't know why. Get up top, Altidore and Wood. First half they felt very disjointed because the way I see it, Wood's got more pace, Altidore has more height and strength. I expect the long balls, Altidore should be jumping up, winning those. Winning the header, holding up the play. Wood should be the one pressuring the defense. It felt like the opposite in the first half. Like Altidore was pressuring the defenders, Wood was going up for the header, and it just kept coming back at us because that doesn't work. Second half, Altidore started going up for the headers and winning them and knocking them onto Wood. Wood was putting pressure on the defense, taking him on with his speed, and I mean that's where the goal came from. Altidore holds it up with his strength, lays in Bobby Wood, who takes him on with his speed, takes him inside, finds the goal. I mean, that's what I expect out of those two. So it just needs to be more of that in the first half, because I feel like if they have more joy up top, that allows for less attack from Mexico. So you look at what they're doing up top, it's just as important as the defense. If they're constantly attacking, Mexico doesn't have as much possession, and they don't have as much attack going at us. So they both had a good game, though. I wouldn't say that either of them played to their fullest potential. I think Bobby Wood got close to his full potential in the second half. I mean, he really stepped it up. Probably could have won us the game a couple times. Altidore, I think, he needs to work on getting on the end of those crosses because there's so many crosses in the first and second half where I'm just like, Altidore needs to be there, and he's not. Or if he is, he's missing the ball, not finishing it. So I think they both need to step up their game a little bit. And there are forwards. You expect them to score. They really have to work on getting on the end of some of the crosses, some of the final through balls, and of course not finding the keeper every single time. But like I said, overall it was disappointing because we have the talent out there to win, except for Chandler and Bradley. But we have the talent on our team to win, and we have the home field advantage, and we have this this history of winning 2-0. We have the history, we have the momentum, we have all of this, and then Klinsmann just goes and screws us over by throwing out Chandler and Bradley. And then after that, what does he do? He doesn't make the right subs. He doesn't make the right changes at the right times. It's just, I feel like a lot of it comes down to the decisions from Klinsmann. What is he doing at the practices? What's he doing at the training grounds? Why is he making the decisions he's making? You look at a lot of that, I feel like something's got to change. We can't keep losing games like this. We can't keep having moments like this where it's like, oh, better luck next time. Yeah, say that again whenever we lose to Jamaica in the semifinals of the Gold Cup. That it's not good enough. And we want to qualify for World Cup, it's got to get better. Because I guarantee playing against Costa Rica, that's going to be a game that we're going to have a lot of difficulty with. So we have to go in ready to play. And if he puts out the same lineup he did, if he puts out Timmy Chandler again, if he puts out Michael Bradley again, I guarantee we're going to have a really difficult time because Costa Rica are going to come to play. They're going to come and have a point to prove. So, I'm done ranting. Well, not yet. Final thing to talk about, because when you talk about a game, of course you got to talk about the referees. I want to know, they said the main referee came from Guatemala. I want to know, what games he refereed over in Guatemala, because I feel like it was probably U10 or something like that. Because he was awful. He was really, really bad. Some of his decisions were good. Some of the yellow cards were yellow cards. The decision to yellow card the one guy for diving for Mexico, yeah, that's a yellow. But then some of them is just like, little touch, guy falls over, oh, it's a foul. Really? Sometimes there's challenges coming in, knocking him over. Sometimes there's pulling going on. And there's one in particular, I remember, where Johnson's making a run in the midfield. He gets his arm pulled and he falls. No call. And then the very next second, somebody's putting in a challenge on the Mexico guy. He flops. Oh, that's a foul. It just doesn't make any sense. I want consistency, and this guy was far from consistent. He was awful as a referee. So, just the little things. I know I'm not blaming the referees at all. They had nothing to do with the loss. But it is something that's kind of frustrating when your team's playing bad, your coach is making poor decisions, the referees are also terrible. Well, there's something else to complain about. So, long story short, this is not a good enough performance. It's not good enough from Jurgen Klinsmann. He needs to step it up because I don't know what was going through his mind tonight, but we had to win that match. So losing instantly puts us on the back foot. Now we have to go and win the next match because if we lose the first two matches, now we're in a deep pit, and now it's hard to get out. So I don't know what he's going to do to change it up. I don't know if he's going to change it up at all, if he's just going to look at it and say, like, you know what, the beginning of that second half was good, so let's just keep it how we did in the beginning of the second half, because frankly, it wasn't good enough in the second half either. It was just good enough for those first 5 minutes where Wood and Altidore stepped it up. But then after that, everything after that was just like it started to die off, and Mexico got the better chances. And all right, so that's about it for this game. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this game? What decisions do you agree and disagree with me on? Let me know. We can talk about, discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future USA World Cup qualifying reviews. I'll see you at the next game. Peace out.